vinyl community, this is Chris. I'm here to do a video of recent finds, music. I've accumulated a few albums over the past couple weeks, and today I even scored some at the Antique Mall and the Salvation Army thrift store. So to start with this, this was an online purchase, which I was surprised to see. Charles O'Connor, as part of the Charles O'Connor Resolution Suite, Angels on the Mantelpiece, 1993. Charles O'Connor was a member of Horslips, which I think was an Irish band that I've accumulated most of their albums. And according to blurbs with this release, this might be his first solo release post Horslips, which seemed like they ended in 1980. Again, this was 1993, but folk instrumentation, folk music, Charles O'Connor. And then this one was one I picked up at the Salvation Army. Chris Droney, The Flowing Tide, 1974, I think. This was on the Topic label, which was what convinced me to pick it up, because I've seen Topic as several other folk artists like Shirley Collins. They do a lot of reissues of folk music, so this one didn't appear to be a reissue, but traditional concertina music from County Clare. They had another one there which turned out to just be a cover, and I think it was by Kevin Burke, and he had Paul Brady, who I recognize the name as a member of Planksty, on it, but I searched back through everything to look for loose LPs just laying around that fit in the cover, but couldn't find anything. But I might insert the picture of the cover in case anybody has a comment on that. And then at the Antique Mall, I got a couple of dollar albums. The Chris Droney, that was also, everything at the Salvation Army was $1 too. Unless I go back tomorrow and then it's Senior Day and I get a 25% discount. But Proclaimers' first album, This Is the Story. Which is pretty nice. It's on this white label Chysalis. The only problem with this is that somebody's dog or whatever ate the corner off the album. So Proclaimers, Scottish band. And then the other Antique Mall pickup was Jeremy Storch. This is his second LP from 1971. 40 Miles Past Woodstock on RCA, Dynaflex label. So this is described as folk rock, psychedelic folk. Of course, almost everything is described as psychedelic something. So hard to put much store in that, or much stock in that. But this is pretty much piano-based folk music. He had a 1970 release, which is, I don't have other than a digital copy of that. Again, it was piano-based folk music. And a recent, I think it was Discogs purchase. There was a Doc Watson album that I needed, or I had a CD of, but I decided to get the vinyl version, and the seller threw this one in for free. Doc Watson Favorites from 1982. This is on Liberty. So this is a compilation of 1970s tracks by Doc Watson. And then the one that I was, buying was this one, Riding the Midnight Train. Doc Watson, 1986 maybe, on Sugar Hill. So Doc Watson, lead guitar, folk music. And then I got this one, I think it was off eBay, The Young Tradition, 1966. This one's on the Vanguard label. So Peter Bellamy. I think that's Peter Bellamy there. Young Tradition. Traditional folk music. Very slight accompaniment. A lot of just a cappella style. From my limited knowledge of early UK folk, Young Tradition, the Watersons, the Cooper family, those seem to be the primary ones that I know about. And then, then I got some Peter Bellamy. There was a lot that I bid on of Peter Bellamy records after he left the Young Tradition. So this was the first one. Fox Jumps Over the Parson's Gate. This one's also on the Topic label, 1969. And 1970, Peter Bellamy, Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Here he's singing Rudyard Kipling songs, or he has put Rudyard Kipling verses to melody. And this is on the Argo label. This is 1970. Which I read someplace that that was an unpopular move on his part to, sing Rudyard Kipling, because that didn't fit in with the, current musical or political scene back then. This one I had shown before, Peter Bellamy, Won't You Go My Way, 1971. But this was part of the lot. So I ended up with 2 copies of this one. Also on the Argo label. So I figured out what to do with that second copy. And then the last one in that lot, Peter Bellamy, Both Sides Now, 1979. And this one's another one on the Topic label. label has changed. So I've shown 3 different versions of the topic label. And I went to the local record store, Vertical Music, and this was in their dollar bin. I think this was the only thing I ended up picking up, but The Strayaway Child by Jerry Reed Smith and Tom Fellenbaum. Music for hammered dulcimer. This is on the Song of the Wood label. I think this is 1981, and from what I can tell, they were both music instrument makers based in North Carolina. So I guess they put this out to promote their products. So, A Strayaway Child. And I forgot to show with that Young Tradition and Peter Bellamy stuff, I got this CD. The Young Tradition with the album Galleries. And then Royston Wood and Heatherwood put out the album called No Relation, because I guess they were not related, even though they were both with the last name of Wood. So a twofer CD. Of early British folk music. Don't remember when these individual ones came out. Galleries may have been mid to late 60s. I'm not sure about the Royston Wood. And then, you know, related to that whole music scene, Waterson Carthy, or English folk, Martin Carthy, Norma Waterson, and Eliza Carthy, daughter of Norma and Martin. So this is a CD on the Topic label. More English folk. And then a solo album by Eliza Carthy, Martin Carthy's daughter, Norma Waterson's daughter. This is called Red. Prominent accordion on this album. You know, every once in a while it makes me think of Penguin Cafe Orchestra, other than her vocals, which are very more traditional. But sometimes the instrumentation is less traditional. But folk oriented. And then a couple more. This one I just pulled off the shelf. I'd forgotten about that. Stephen Monahan. Again, I think this was described as folk psych, but has a lot of woodwinds accompanying Stephen Monahan on this. It's a white label promo on Kapp. 1968. Gatefold. Stephen Monahan. Self-titled. And another one in the early folk vein, folk explosion, college folk, whatever it's called. The Coachman. Subways of Boston. This is on the Hi-Fi Records. 1960. Coachman. So that Pop Folk from 1960. And then picked up another Planksty album. Cold Blow and the Rainy Night on the Shanachie label. I think this was recorded in 74. Might not have been issued until 79. I referenced Paul Brady earlier for that other album that I couldn't find the actual vinyl for, but he had left the band by this point. So Paul Brady, Planksty. Cold Blow and the Rainy Night. And the last two, the Habibia, If Man But Knew. This is a Mighty Baby related release. So sort of Middle Eastern sounding music from some members of Mighty Baby. 1972. On the this is on Island. Habibia, If Man But Knew. And then the last one, 1969, Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Close cover before playing. On Liberty. So just another nice Gary Lewis album. I don't know if you can see it there. Oh, there you go. My Best, Gary Lewis. And then it's got this fancy cover there. So does some songs of the day. Every day I have to cry some. Rhythm of the Rain, Turn Around, Look at Me, CC Rider, I Think We're Alone Now. So those were the songs. So that was my music update on recent auctions and online purchases and thrift stores and antique malls, so forth. So plus a little bit from that I already had. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you later.